Good morning, or should I say afternoon, because it is literally 1 p.m. I have a good reason for why I woke up so late. It's because last night I started writing a song. I started it at 12 a.m. after watching two seasons of Bridgerton all day. So yeah, basically I had a bit of a depression day. And I sat inside and did absolutely nothing, and there was mess everywhere, and yeah, the sun just went away, and it made so much difference to the colored tones of what's going on right now. Because I have been saying that I would film myself talk about the songwriting process for so long, I thought I would do this, because I feel like every time I sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna songwrite in front of the camera, it never works, because it's like forced. Because I kind of have an idea, and I kind of have this and that and this and that. I can show you. So I have this poem that I wrote, poem, story, whatever you want to say. Dream that triggered this poem writing the next morning, and it was like a few weeks ago. This is kind of, oh yay, lovely. It's kind of my process, is where I'll get a dream or have like a trigger event happen, and I'm like, okay, it's time. Like the writing is here. It's pouring out of me. Can't stop it. Can't stop, what's that? So the lyrics I have are, how you did it on your own, I don't know. How you did it on your own, I don't know. Climbing the peppermint tree, or was it the day the swing broke under the weight of me? We survived differently, which are memory foam versus my own mind protecting me. We watched the mountains of limestone that became Wandina, urban sprawl. Rolled patty melons like 10-pin bowls, or did they shut that place down for selling underage alcohol? Or the empty block next door where Q made a cubby with one of those old camp chairs where $1 million house now stands. I feel funny, goosebumps, raised hairs, air hockey living room, tadpoles, Chapman River, stench of nostalgia makes me shiver. In a pop-up princess castle I found solace, swept away in that cyclone. Was that the same one that took down our back fence? It was made of asbestos anyhow. How you did it on your own, I don't know. How you did it on your own, I don't know. The day you moved me in, open arms. And will I ever repay my debts? Will I ever make a difference? Or will it ever end? Will you ever get tired of my relentless questioning? Or will I get to ask all of them before you leave? How you did it on your own, I don't know. How you did it on your own, I don't know. I guess it's around childhood, and just like, I saw this, there's this page called A View from a Bridge on Instagram that I follow.
Or I believed something happened to me that I later found out was not what I thought it was. I lived in suburban Baltimore, and there was a town there named Catonsville. I think around 1968, 69, somewhere around there. This was when people like around my age, maybe a little bit older as well, were getting drafted and sent to Vietnam. And a group of priests broke into the Catonsville draft board and took out all the draft records, put them in the parking lot. I think they poured like pig's blood over them and set them all on fire with some imitation napalm. Then they waited to be arrested, and their idea was that the case would be a chance for them to argue for the immorality of the Vietnam War. Now, since I lived nearby, I felt that, well, these guys, besides making a kind of worthy protest, have gotten me out of the draft because they burned my records along with everybody else's. So I thought, well, I'm free. I told that story when the opportunity arose many times. I internalized it. I felt that it actually happened to me until not too long ago, I wrote the story up in a blog post, and someone read it and did the math and said, this is the year they did this. This is how old you were. You weren't eligible for the draft at that point. So your information is incorrect. It's a good story, but it's not true. This was, for me, an example of how our memories, we change our memories. We invent them. They become internalized. We're not conscious of that. We're not consciously lying to people. It makes for a good story. We start to kind of repeat it, and we believe that it happened. And then we find out that other things about myself have I made up? How much of what I tell myself about who I am and how much of it actually happened and how much of it is not intentional lies, but fiction? And do we all do that? Of course we all do that. I think all of us like to present ourselves as being maybe a little more interesting than we actually are. And I think we all do that to some extent, but some people can get really carried away with it. So I think it's a kind of spectrum. I think there's a spectrum between a little bit of fabrication and embellishment and complete falsehood. The kind of fiction, if it's well told, if it doesn't hurt anyone, has some kind of truth at the core. There's some kind of truth that it's revealing, something about their choice to tell that story in that way, about that subject, and that reveals something, and there might even be a kind of a deeper truth in the fictions that we tell ourselves.
Like what? David Byrne from Talking Heads. What? Like, you're so right. And okay. This thought has been going on in my head since I was like since I was a literal child. I've been thinking like, what's real and what is not, because the amount of times, like, you know, little childhood stories you have that you think, oh, like, this went that way and this went that way. Girl, you were 4, how are you gonna know? Like, okay, so like I hit my head very hard running into a wall when I was a kid, and I thought it was because I was excited I had a Hello Kitty stereo, because I'd been asking my mum for one for so long, but I thought she had brought it home once and she said, fine, you can have it. So I like ran into the wall so excited because I had this thing that one of my frontal lobe would be crazy. Anyway, I had this massive, we called it a googie egg because it was just like this massive bruise and this raised forehead. But then later my brother told me it was because I had one of those, like, you know, those hammer things with the 2 squeaky bits on the side. Apparently I was just like banging my forehead with that instead, and then ran into the wall. I don't really know what happened. I wasn't really sentient, so it's hard to tell, but it's little things like that. That one's obviously a funny story, but especially growing up in the same town, especially growing up in the same town your whole life, you internalize stuff, as David Byrne says, that perhaps was exaggerated or wasn't real, and it's hard to tell what was real and what wasn't. Anyway, that's kind of what inspired the underlying meaning of this song, because someone had articulated it in a way that I could understand, and it was so well done. So thank you, David Byrne. I just wanted to document this because last night by 2 a.m. I had all the lyrics in a nice little structure, and I had made a guitar part, sort of. I don't really know how they're gonna link up, but shall we try? I'm gonna put this on there because it's cold. I also wrote this the other day yesterday, because I was in I feel like when I don't take my ADHD meds, I'm actually way more in touch with my body and my emotions, which is kind of good and bad in ways, because like if you don't take it, then you can like really understand how you're feeling at the moment, but then also that overwhelms me so much to the point like I can't get anything done. So it's like that's a no bones day, like a no functioning day. Anyway, I'll set old photos as backgrounds, wear my old team jackets and my high school shorts. They have my name written on them in capital letters, and as a stranger skims them when I pass, they think they have something on me, but they know nothing of the sort. I'll cosplay a past version of me while I try to make the biggest decision I've ever made. They'll say, you know you're on the right path when it disappears. I'll feel relief when the function is cancelled. Just a poem for you. Just a poem. And I've been beating myself up lately because I play some new songs that I've written with a capo, because they're like cool finger picking stuff, but it's just like, it's kind of like open chords, but they're not, I don't know. And I keep getting like all those Instagrammers that are like, using a capo? What are you doing? You don't even know what key you're in? Like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I'm a fraud. I'm a musician. I don't know anything. No, I do. I know my scales. better than I used to, and that's on progress. Do whatever you want, guys. Don't let anyone discourage you, because God knows if I had let everyone say that I was shit, that I never would have started. So. Know what just happened there, but that's kind of the point. I start off like this, whatever that was, I would record that on my phone usually, and then I would listen to it and feel out where the chord progression is and where I want it to actually be going, and how many times that would repeat, or like how many times like, oh, this part would happen, because that's just a da, da. So that's basically the gist, and then I forget, trying to explain my process really hard. I came up with this. My songwriting changes every single time I make it. Like that, I started with a story, a poem, then I left it for a month, then I saw a video that reminded me of the feeling that this was actually portraying. Then I was like, okay, let's really make the structure work. Then I picked up my guitar, made a thing, made a slight melody, which I'm about to show you, and then now I'm going to try and add melody to the whole song. It's like, I don't know, it's just different. I'd say this is the most common one I use, actually, and it usually is the one that works the best for me, but I do it different every time. Sometimes it's a song sound first. I've done that recently a lot with a couple different songs, but anyway, getting back on track, we're gonna do I was struggling so much last night trying to figure this out. Okay, got it. That's the transition. Okay, that's good. We get it. Okay. All these different verses, and I don't want them to be too boring. But I'm trying not to think about that also, because this song is very personal to me. So that's a new thing that's come up lately with songwriting, is I feel like sometimes my brain is like, oh, but will people like this? And I'm like, wait, guys, hold up. I'm talking to the voices in my head. And I'm like, guys, hold up. That's not our concern at all. Interesting how that happens. Because it's like, of course, I've written songs and I have them out and people might expect something from me, but also expectations are silly. And you never know what I'm gonna do, so don't expect to know. That's what I gotta tell myself, because it gets into your head sometimes when you're writing, and I feel like a lot of people wouldn't understand that. Climbing the peppermint tree, oh, the day the swing broke from under me. We survived battery says it's gonna die. But I just wanted to show you that. Even if it's like a really quick segment even if it's another short segment in a different video that this existed, that I could show you. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. I'll let you know if any updates happen. What's that? I'm gonna go eat pasta now. Bye-bye. The day you move me in open arms, and will I ever pay my debts off? Will I ever make a difference? You're like a firefly, and I'm preserved in amber, longing for my brothers and sisters.